Hey, dear lovely people. So sorry first. This is all in German. I'm German, and this just is the German slides. I don't want to make new slides for now because I want to finish this as quickly up as possible. So what I'm telling in this little video, what I'm trying to show people, is that we have some kind of weird paradox in the first cause that is resulting in time and therefore space, which, by the way, is a basic thought in this experiment, that space results from time and from energy and not time from space and energy, which I will come later to, which is important to keep in mind now. So, the assumptions. What we're talking about, as I said, it's all in German, but for now, just take a listen with me and look at the mathematical formula. So if two waves, or better said, frequencies, my English is not good today. Not good today. This is annoying. My English is not very fluent. I'm not very fluent today. I'm sorry. As I said, that's also the wrong word, but I will just continue. So if two waves, let's say waves, so something that vibrates, some two vibrations of the same frequency, but different intensity, collide with each other, we have epsilon equals epsilon1 plus y2 epsilon. Let's say just epsilon. Epsilon should mean y. As I said, I'm German and I'm really confused right now. So two vibrations, the same frequency but different intensity, make y equals y1 plus y2, and y is equals y max 1 plus y max 2 times sinus times work times time. So now we look at this formula and we take it with a little bit grain of salt, because it's all mathematics that result from the material plane. So we take a little bit of quantum mechanics into account, but we don't just take two properties, we take three properties. We take y as a property, y1 as a property, and y2 as a property of the quantum realm. To better get an idea what these should mean, is y is what we want to calculate, the connection point in time between these two things. Y1 is the first, well, whatever, whatever plays on it, and y2 is the forces that interact and that cause it. So y is the correlation, y1 is the material, the whatever the force works on, and y2 are the force that works. So if we take the two forces, y2 as 2, and calculate therefore the other properties as a collibating wave function, exploding wave function, wave function that well, breaks down. So my English is not good today. I'm very sorry. This is kind of funny, so that's good. Usually my English is very fluent, and I'm not very good, but I'm quite good at it. Not like a native speaker, but I'm good enough to let my points be clear. But this time it's very difficult. So maybe it's funny that has some good aspects in it. So the wave function that is broken down is described as y semicolon equals y1 plus 2. So the broken down collision point equals the medium plus the two forces that interact with the medium. If we now have y0, so the colliding point of y semicolon and y, we have again two properties that are not defined, which is y0 and y2, because now we don't know how many forces interact with the universe. But we know y1, which needs to be y semicolon divided by 2, the two forces that acted before. So if we break this down one more time, the wave function, and we assume that it breaks down a second time, or better said, a third time, like it's kind of weird, second and a half time, 2.5 men. And we take y0 semicolon equals y0 y0 semicolon equals y semicolon divided by 2 plus 2, because now we have the two forces, plus the other one defined, but we still have one property that is undefined, which is y0 semicolon. So why do I make all these assumptions? As said, these forces should be described in rational numbers. So we have 2, 1 and 1 plus 1, 2 forces. 1 force plus 1 force equals 2. Y1 should be the thing that it results from, and y is what we have as the result, so the material, for example. And y0, as I said, is the collision point of the frequencies by the two forces when the wave function already broke down. So why we always just have two variables unknown but one known is because it is like the Heisenberg's Unschärferelation. I don't know what it is in English. I don't know what it is in English. I know, but I can't say it right now. Weird. I'm in a bad state, as I said. Sorry. So the Heisenberg's Unschärferelation says that something is not defined in quantum physics as soon as one other property is defined. As we said, because we speak about two properties now, we have two properties that are not defined. Why can we now define with y0 semicolon the two properties? Because in the y0 we don't really have property defined, we just have a correlation defined. And if we have a correlation defined in the quantum realm and then break the wave function again, my hypothesis is that we can define actually two instead of all three. All three is never possible, but we can define two factors, which are the two forces and the correlation of the first cause, which is y1, which is still not 100% defined, but now we have a correlation defined plus the number defined as y2. So now to the mathematics. This is the mathematics. It's a lot to take in. I kind of did some work there, put some formulas into each other, twisted them around, used the sentence of Vita, the law of Vita, and the binomic formula. I hope it's the same in English, which is PQ, the PQ formula, PQ, and the binomic one, and the one for linear equation. So after I did all that, I come to the conclusion that y0 plus y2 equals y1. So this is what this is all about. This is very weird. If this is true and my calculations are true, then it is true that the present is after the future and the past. So the past plus the future make the present, not the present and the past make the future. That's basically the hypothesis, which means that we have a transcendent aspect that is the present from the past and the future. Very, very, very mind-boggling if you think about it. But even more mind-boggling is that t, so time, is after the present, but through the present, but the present is not in t, which is even more weird, and this is where we come to the nature of God. If God exists, that's how I think that God exists in a way. Like maybe not even now, because he changed himself or something, but that is the first state. Why he's transcendent and all that stuff. That makes a lot of sense. So now why time is weird and how we can prove this mathematically. As I said, we have now our formula, which means y equals y max 1 minus y max 2 times sinus times work times t. If we now insert into y max 1 0 minus y max 2 times sinus times work times t, we get the formula y equals let me think, y equals y divided, wait, let me think, I need to look at the formula. Yes, y divided by y divided by that, and I'm totally out of this. Yeah. Great. So, to prove this mathematically, I tried one more time. I tried now 4 times to reconstruct the German the German way that I did, but as I said, as soon as I speak in English, my thought process are also differently, and I can't do the same math that I did before. That is like a problem because I'm German, right? And I'm not a native English speaker, even though I do a lot of stuff in English. I'm not a native English speaker, at least not right now. So I try my best to do this as best as possible. So if we have y equals y max 1 minus y max 2 times sinus times work times t, we now use y max 1 as our base point, which is y max 1, 0. We use minus y max 2 as our endpoint, which would accumulate to y max 2, but let's just keep it for the sake of that there. And times sinus times work times t. So if we now look at our base point, we can insert the formula y1 minus y2 equals y0. Then y1, of course, is now our y, because, I think that's logic from this formula here. Y is y1 plus y2, because y is set then inserted into y0 or y. It has both properties at the same time. So if you then insert it in there, you get minus y2 minus y max 2 times sinus times v w times t. So you can now plus y. Yeah, that was correct. Y minus y2. So now you can take the minus and you have 0 equals y minus y2 minus y max 2 times sinus times work times t. Now you put the minus y2 on the other side. So you have y2 equals sinus work times t. Now we take our y max 2 into our new base point on which the previous one interacted, because the wave function is breaking down. And therefore I have it as a new base point, which equals to, I think, y0 divided by y1 minus y0 equals sinus times v work times t. Now, very important, as soon as we set our base point, t is not t anymore, t becomes t max. Reason for this: we don't have now our collision point at y max 1 times y minus y max 2, but we have our collision point at y max 1, 0 minus y max 1 y max 2, 0. So t is at that point t0, and we look from t0 and not from the result of t0. That's why work must be then calculated times t max. Because that is now t0 and not t anymore. So as soon as we got that as sinus times v times t max, we now can check what is v, sorry for the bad English, and we insert there the same stuff. Now just we go to because work, and the work we do is then goes to the point of y2, right? It's the end point, it's the finish point, where everything linearly works towards 2. So we have y2, and y2 divided by t, sinus y2 divided by t0 times t max. That is now our other part of the equation. So what we do now is we check what is y2, what is right, t max, t0, y2, exactly. What is y2? And y2 is, when we look at it from the first formula, wait a second, I need to think for a quick second. Y2, where is it in this formula? It needs somewhere on the page, I know that. Yeah, we can just use our formula now. Y0, y2 equals 1, y1 minus y0. So we put that in. So we have y1 minus y0 equals, because sinus and sinus equal each other out, right? I think if you have something sinus, well, times sinus, I think in mathematically it's speaking that then there is nothing anymore. We have y0 plus y1 equals y1 minus y0 times t max divided by t0. And now it gets a little bit funny if we then divide everything by t0. We have a base point on the other side, which still doesn't get us where we want to be, but we only need to do one more step, which is, let me just see it here, because I don't want to do it from reasoning, I want to do it from math. We have that formula, so what can I insert? I can insert wait a second, did I do something wrong? As I said in the German video, this is completely correct, like I did it in the end correctly. Well, this is already kind of proof, but for the first hypothesis. But more importantly, if we yes, that's it. If we look at Tmax, what Tmax is, Tmax equals T0 times T, right? Is it correct? Yeah, that's at least correct. Now I will insert that because I don't know where is the result of the insertion now. So if we insert that into y1 minus y2 equals y1 minus y2 times t 0 times t, and we have on the other side of the equation divided by t0. We can cancel that other out. So we have y1 minus y0 equals y1 minus y0 times t. And if we then put the formula we have on this page inside there for y1 into one of them, we have, and here's where it gets funny, check, we have y0, because we cancel it out, y0 equals y1 equals y0 minus y2 times t. We can just divide it by t now, so we have y1 equals y0 minus y2. So this is not exactly the formula, because I did one small mistake in the whole thinking and calculating. It's because I do it all in my head right now. As I said, it's kind of difficult then because I didn't write it down. I just wrote this down, what I have there. I forgot a minus. I forgot a minus when I inserted the formulas into each other. I had some kind of reversion there. You should have noticed it, because if you now if you would have like correctly inserted it, you would have, I think, or I would have got y0 minus y1 equals y1 minus y0 times t, which then inserted. Exactly did that mistake. You cannot put it in brackets because wait, let me think. As I said, I will keep all of this on the video. So what I did there as a mistake is I inserted something wrong. When you have the equation y1 minus y0, y0 minus y1 equals y0 minus v1 times t, and you insert the equation of y1 minus y2 into that, which is from the equation I have there, into the y0, you get y1 minus no. You get the gist. Then you get the minus in front of the y1, and you can multiply the whole equation by minus, and you get the equation I have there, even without minus t, because t is not affected by it before, because you can do it before you insert t. That's about it. That's about how I try to prove that time comes from a single from three points, not one single point. It exists by 3 points, and more importantly, what all of this means is that if the cause of the universe exists, it is in a way that has trinity, which means it has a base point, something that it thinks itself over and that it results in, and while that it's transcendent to be all of that and not be it at the same time, from which results time. And that is very weird. I wrote this down in German. What this means is whatever led to the first cause of the cosmos will exist after it. y1, y2, and y0 exist through each other and by each other and amongst each other. And the most important thing is that the present is not the first thing that happens. So that's what I found out, apparently. If not, make fun of me. It's very difficult to do all this math, especially in your head, even if it's just little equations and not some really weird equations with sums and all that stuff. Even this in my head, it's a little bit, right now it's a little bit over-calculating much. So that's what I can, publish right now. Amazon doesn't want to publish this. I hope YouTube doesn't take it off. Have a nice day.